Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for rejoining. I hope you had a very good day today and you're fresh to start again in the evening. Okay. So, quickly, before I start, a few things. Yeah, good evening. Thank you. Thank you. So, before I start, guys, so today is the last but one day. Tomorrow is the penultimate day. So, tomorrow, my plan is to complete the classes and objects for you. And then what do? Is we start off. I will provide a small, very small, it's not exactly a project, it's more like a complex piece of code that I will want you to write. So towards the end of the session today, I will tell you about the project. There are a few concepts which you will have to learn on your own. Okay, and come back and what? And then we will do a hands-on session tomorrow. Okay. So with that announcement, let us move on. I think I had given you a few homeworks, right? What was it? Anybody who's done it or no? Didn't get the time? Yes, everybody's quiet. What happened? Am I audible? Am I audible loud and clear? Please confirm two things. Okay, is my screen visible? Okay, good. So have you done the homework? Can I get a yes, no, yes, no? It's done. Okay. I got only 2 people saying done. Okay, 3 now. Okay, let's discuss the problem quickly and let me give you some insight. So first problem was this, right? Names 1 equals to this. Okay, tell me first, what is the answer? Which one was the correct answer? Okay. Okay, 12. All of you are saying 12. Right. Fair enough. Yes, 12 is the correct answer. Let's understand why it is 12. Okay. See, first things first. When you created names 1 list, okay, and then you assigned it to something called as names 2, remember that Python doesn't create a new object. It reuse the same object, but now names 2 becomes just an alias for names 1 and vice versa. Okay. And third point, so names 2 is what now? Is the same list: Amir, Bear, Charlton, Daman. Names 3 is names 1, this. So what is this operation? Names 1. After names 1, what is this operation called? Slicing. Good. Very good. Slicing. Fantastic. Now, when you slice it from beginning to end, all objects, so now Python creates a new object for you, a new list basically. So names 3 has got a different ID. Next, what happens? See, names 2 zeroth element you update to Alice. That means both in names 1 and names 2, if you refer it, this list becomes as Alice, Bear, Charlton, Daman. Whereas for names 3, the first object becomes Bob. So naturally now when you loop through these lists, first case, what is LS? Tell me what is LS? Quick. You should be able to tell now instantaneously like this. Iterable first element, which element in list it is at the beginning? LS, which element? It assigns the value of names 1, right? So now what it is doing? It is checking if the 0th element of the names 1 list is Alice. Is it Alice? Yes or no? First case, is it Alice? Yes, because names 2 was updated. So that is why names 1 also got updated. Correct, all of you. So what did it do? What operator it is? Tell me. Plus equals to assignment operator. Very good. So it assigned 1 to the original. So it incremented by 1. Yes, Sai Vandana. Very good. It assignment operator, and it assigned 1 more. So it incremented by 1. And then what? So what is sum now? It was 0. Now it became 1. Correct? Right. Right, all of you. Yes, Jayanti, Nilima. Correct. Good. Very good, folks. Next, what? Next, it checks. Is the first element Bob? Tell me, is it Bob in this case? Is it Bob? No, it is not Bob. Okay, what it is? Tell me first element in this iteration, what it is. Where, who's that with the mic on? Can you please mute? Hello.
Oh, yeah,
I muted all the
participants. Then you can go ahead now.
Yeah, so am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, right. So it is bare, right? So first, this next condition fails. Okay. Now what? Then again, next iteration, what happens? It is it equal to ls0? What value it is now? Names 2, right? So is it Alice? Yes, it is Alice. 0th element is Alice, same list. So again, another increment. So it became 2. Again, this condition fails. The second condition fails. Third time, as you understand now, it is names 3. And the first element is definitely Bob. So in this case, what happens? It increments by 10 more. So the output is 12. So point to note, if you assign one list to another, plain and simple, so Python doesn't create another new list. It reuses the same object. Whereas if you slice it, then a new object is created. Okay, this is the point to note. Quick, next, what was it? I asked you to create a list, tuple of fishes. Few fish names were given: blowfish, clownfish, catfish, octopus. And you are supposed to create a list of all fish except octopus. Have you done it? Can you share your code with me? Yes, please DM me your code. Let me see what you have done. I had asked you to use list comprehension. Okay, good, Mansi. Very good. Very happy to see. Anybody else? Nandini, can you just paste and send it, please? Otherwise, your image is coming. I'm having a problem viewing it. Okay. Please don't send your screenshots. Send the lines of code. Just copy and send it. Anybody else? Okay, let me quickly discuss. Okay, those of you have done, very good, excellent. Those of you have not done but tried, excellent for you as well. Those of you who have not tried at all, no comments. Okay, but let's try now together. So this is the tuple. Okay, now what do I have to do? I have to create a list comprehension for what? Take all fish except octopus and append it to a new list. So what do? We iterate through that tuple, pull out each element and compare if that element is equal to octopus. If it is not equal to octopus, then we append it to the new list called fish list. So this is just one line of code. Okay, got it? Amar, I'm pasting it here as well if there's anybody who's in YouTube and needs the reference. So I'm just pasting it over here. Cool. Done. Understood? Do you have a question for me? No, Nandini, I didn't ask you to typecast it. I had asked you to do a list comprehension. Okay? List comprehension. Please try if you have not done and if you have understood what I've done. Do you have a question on this program? Anything which doesn't make sense to you, you would like to me to explain it again? I think it's very straightforward. We have done one program like this yesterday, so it should be okay with you. But just in case, I'm waiting for a minute more. And those of you who have not tried, yes, Kavya, we can do slicing tuples, but please concentrate on what I'm teaching you now. I'm giving you enough time to ask me questions on this program now only. Okay, don't do slicing and all now over here. Don't do the slicing. I'm telling again and again, I don't want you to do slicing and all that here. Just list comprehension. So those of you who have not done it, please try it now. I have explained to you, this is a very important topic, list comprehension. You need to work on it. So do this program right now. I will wait for you. A minute more to the clock of my laptop. When it says it's 7:19, I'm going to ask you to stop. So just a minute. Okay, good. Mujassim, please don't raise your hand. Just type out your question. Guys, one thing please keep in mind, never use list comprehension if the conditions become very complex, like 2 or 3 iterations, loops, sub loops, then 2 or 3 if else conditions. Never use it. It's just for that 1 or 2 line wala concept. Okay. Okay, if you have done, now I want you to do one more code. Part 2, loops and functions, page 49, the program number 5. There's one function you may find unfamiliar, zip. So I need you to quickly search it out on your own, Google it, ChatGPT it, whatever you want to do it and find out what it does. Then I'm just pasting it over here as well. Please go through each line carefully. Understand what's happening. If needed, take a piece of paper, take a pen or a pencil and write down and try to visualize what's going on. Take time till 7:25. Now 7:20 to the clock, 7:25 maximum. Then we start the proceedings of the day. Today we have very interesting topics lined up. Topics like lambda functions, topics like inbuilt functions like map, reduce, filter. So yeah, lot of stuff coming up. And today we might stretch, guys, 5-10 minutes we might stretch. Okay. Yeah. Okay, hard stop. You have to stop now. Tell me, anybody's finished it? Anybody's finished it? What does the first line do? What is the output? What is the output? No HP combines iterables? No, not really. Creates dictionary. Okay, good. Creates dictionary. Good. Okay. Like 1A. Okay. Yeah, it creates dictionary. Now let's quickly look at the zip function. So the zip function, guys, creates a zip object. Remember this. Each of these creates another object of that same category. So zip is an inbuilt function. It creates a zip object. What it creates? So it creates a sort of iterable wherein it zips together two things. Suppose student names, name A, name B, name C. And what does it do? It zips like this. Okay. Then suppose marks 100, 200, 300. Okay. So if you put these two parameters, these two tuples to zip, then it creates a zip object, which if you can loop through, zip, print ITR. Okay, it actually zips together each individual element from the first tuple to each individual element from the second tuple. The first 0th element of tuple A, tuple 1 is zipped or hooked to 0th element of tuple 2 and likewise. Okay, so now what does this do over here? This typecasts the zip object into a dictionary object. So what is it? So the first line gives you a dictionary. What dictionary? Okay, A1, B2 key value pair. Okay, correct, key value pair. Now what is the next one? A1 equals to range 10. What is it? What does it create? Come on, tell me. We have discussed this enough yesterday. Good, 0 to 10. Good, Gayatri. So it creates a range object, right, Vansi? Yes, good, Priti. Okay, right. So it creates a range object, which actually can generate numbers from 0 to 9. 10 numbers in total, 0 to 9. Okay, so A1 is a range object. Next, what? It says A2 equals to sorted I for I in A1. Now let's understand this. See, there's a list comprehension here. So look at the for I in A1 now. What does it do? It iterates through what? It iterates through the range object. And then what does it check? If I in A0. Now, can you tell me what this if I in A0 means? What is this if I in A0? Look, look, students. Yeah, correct. So, students, one thing you need to remember always when you get a question like this, some interviews you can get. If I in A0 means it is checking if that particular I is a key, not a value, huh? Key in a dictionary. So, if I take, for example, A0 over here, if I say, suppose 3 in A0. Tell me, will it be true or false? Okay, good. Good, Jayanti. Yes, right, Nilima. Good, Gayatri. Hey, I need more of you to actually speak out. Huh? Okay, no, Preeti, that's not true. It will be false. Why? Because is 3. Is there a key called 3 in this dictionary A0? Look at it carefully. Is there a key called 3? No, right? So it will be false. Similarly, now you see, you're looping through this A1, which is a range object. Okay. So you will get what? You will generate a range of numbers from 0 to 9. And every time you're going to check if these numbers are present as a key in the dictionary A0. And for which you will always get a false. So this will generate a a blank list for you. Okay. So it will generate a blank list, empty list. Next, so then tell me what will this generate? A3 equals to sort. Okay, sorted, by the way, is a function, just sorts the list. Okay, a homogeneous list. What will this generate? Come on, give it a try. Okay. Okay. Right, Sai Vandana, right, Mansi. Okay, Nilima. Good. Come on, guys, you also need to speak out. See, our girls are doing very well. Speak out, boys. Okay, good, Jayanti. Gayatri for same as A0. Gayatri, I didn't quite understand what you're trying to say, but okay. So A3 basically, it just pulls out, it loops through A0. Okay. And S, what is S over here? For S in A0, what is A0? It is, you're looping through what? Remember here, you're looping through the keys basically. You're finding out the keys and you're printing out the values into a list, putting it into a list and then sorting it. Got it? Right. Good, Jayanti. So you got a list of values of the dictionary A0. Clear? So far, so good? Now, tell me the next line. Tell me the next line. What will be the output for this? A4. A4, what is it? I. For I in A1, if I in A3. What is A3? It is the list. Now look into the innermost. Don't get confused, okay? Look into the innermost. So for I in A1, you understand that it's looping through the range object. And what is it saying? If I is present in A3, what is A3? This list. Is it present? Is 0 present? No, it isn't. Is 1 present? Yes. 2 present? Yes. Till 5, whatever is present, that is created as a new list. So what is A4? It's the same list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then these two are pretty common. You should be able to tell me what will these two do. A5 and A6. Come on, look at it carefully and tell me. A dictionary with its squares. Okay, right, Nilima? No, Sai Vandana, you have... Sai Vandana, look at the for loop correctly. Look at the for loop correctly. 0, 1. Okay. 0, 0, 1, 1. Yeah, correct. 0 to 10. Okay, right. Okay. Right, Sai Vandana. Sorry, I just saw something wrong. I'm sorry. Values a square of keys. Okay, good. Then what about A6? What about A6? A nested list with squares. Good. Okay, something like this. Good. Right. Okay, so that's it. So we have done 2 homeworks and 1 classwork. Yeah. Now, do you feel, guys, that you're getting proper instances, problems to work with, programs to work with? Now that your base is ready, now I can actually start probing you. Okay. So that is why first 2 days or 3 days, I went slow with you. I was giving you more of theory because your base needed to be strengthened. Okay, chalo. Let's move on. See, these are the types of interview questions you will get. So practice MCQs well. Okay. Now, yesterday we had dropped off at the functions. We had understood what is a function. We had seen what values are returned, etc., etc. We had seen the this thing arguments, key variable arguments. Today we will see one more thing called keyword variable arguments. Suppose I have a function which print marks, which will take the student's name, student, and it needs to print a combination of what? Of the paper the student has appeared for and the student's marks. So in such cases, what do we do? I will explain what I'm trying to do. Dot items. Items. Okay, what did I miss over here? Let me quickly look. That items, it's correct. ITR and sorry. ITR items and function formatted string for student subject. Okay, Marxist. That's it. Now, how do I call this function? So over here, print marks, say Hari, and marks says say marks says let's say physics, marks says say 30, chemistry, marks equals to say. Okay, so now this is a bit tricky. So KWArgs, as I said, it means keyword variable arguments, key variable arguments. Now we are passing a combination, unlike what we did yesterday, wherein we just passed the student's name and the marks that the student has obtained. But we didn't tell in what paper the student has obtained what marks, right? If you remember yesterday's problem. Okay, so today what we are doing, we are going to pass the subject and the respective marks. In such cases, we use a double star. And this actually works like a dictionary. So when you give a double star, then some parameter name, the interpreter understands that a keyword variable argument is going to come. Sort of something like a dictionary. So to loop through a dictionary to get the key value pair, you use the items function method. If you remember, we had discussed this. We use the items method. And from that items method, what do? You take two iterators now, one to capture the key, one to capture the value. Because this kwrgs.items returns a combination of key and value. Okay, so that is exactly what we did. And then when I called this function, you see, I gave the name of the student in quotes, but then the subject, I didn't give it in quotes. You have to pass it just like this. Okay, right? So this is how this thing works. Got it? Clear? Clear? If you have understood this quickly, you need to try this out on your own. Quickly. Write out the program. Quick, quick, quick. Time is less. Lots to cover. Okay, good, Kavya. So your indentation is wrong, Tanvi. Okay. You have to check the indentation. It is not exact correct indentation. And you have to give a curly brackets here, Tanvi. It's not a curved bracket in the print statement. When you use a string formatting, you have to give a placeholder as a curly bracket. Okay. Chal, good. Welcome. Okay, next. Now, next, what we will understand is default arguments variable. Next, we will take up the concept of anonymous functions. Now, what does the term anonymity mean? What is anonymous? Who is anonymous? Unknown. Good. One which doesn't have a name. So an anonymous function is actually a small function. When you have a function which, suppose yesterday we did that one, you remember that area of a circle, yeah, underscore circle, R. Then what did we do? Return 3.142 into R square. Correct? Then what did we do? We call the function. Now, such cases, what you can instead do is something like this. Let me see the ones. Yeah. Okay. So now, for anonymous function, it doesn't have a name. How does the interpreter understand that it's an anonymous function? It understands by using the keyword lambda. So the moment you use the reserved keyword lambda, the interpreter understands that this is a anonymous function. And what will we pass as parameter, input parameter here? The radius R. And like this normal function, you give the colon to start the next line. What does it do? 3.142 into R square. Okay, so now the function is defined. You call the function this way. Okay, so this is an anonymous function. Got it? Now, if you have understood this, have you understood it? I want a yes, no from all of you. Okay. So if you have understood it, very good. Thank you all of you for confirming. If you have understood it, now write a lambda function to add up two numbers. Okay. Lambda function, you will have to give an arguments as two numbers, and the output will be the sum of two numbers. Please try it quickly. Uh, yeah. Right, Murli, I will answer that. Okay, I can see Jayanti, good. Lambda A express, very good. Kavya. Yeah, call the function, Kavya. Yeah, Murli, so what happens? Usually lambda functions, you can decide on your own. When you see a very small function, maybe just a simple input and an output, or maximum one if condition here and there, then instead of making a function which will go till 2 or 3 lines, you can just use this one. It's just a quick function, quick turnaround in those cases. Okay, we will see a few examples also. Okay. Yes, I Vandana, good. But did you try the summing up two numbers? Okay, Preeti. Right. Preeti, you don't need to give that bracket A, B. You can just give without the bracket also. Acha, so if all of you have, if you people have understood, which I hope you have. So for you again, there's a homework. What is the homework? Now, you have to write a Python program. So slide number 49 of part 2, program 1. Okay. Program 1 and also program 3. You need to use lambda functions over here. Lambda function coupled with list comprehension. Sneha, please don't send me your screenshots. Copy and send me. Okay, just copy and send me, please. Guys, understand it's difficult for me to open your screenshots. But yeah, it is okay. You have done it perfectly fine. No, no, Sneha. So the idea is that you put all of it in one line. Okay. You put things in one line in a lambda function. Okay. Right. Shut up. So done, everybody. I'm moving on to the next topic with your permission. That is, what is the next topic? Okay, now scope of variables. So suppose here's a function. Let me write def name. Okay. No. Flag equals to 1. Okay. Now I write a function update flag. What it does is it changes flag to 0. Now, if I call this function update flag, what will be the value of flag FLG? What value will it take? 0, right? Exactly, 0. Good. So the value here, FLG, which was part of the main area, work area, is called as a global variable, which any function and every function can see and work with. Okay. Now, suppose, now let me do one thing. Now, suppose, date, say, okay, sorry, I didn't check it. Okay, sorry, I made a mistake, guys, out of the momentum. So what happens is, so the moment we defined FLG equals to 0 within the, I'm sorry about this, this is my mistake. We defined FLG equals to 0 within the update flag function. So what happens is a local copy of this variable is created. It's like a temporary object with the same name as the global variable is created, and it is known as a local variable. Local because it is local to the function update flag. It doesn't impact in any way the main variable. Okay, got it? Let it call it also. Let's see. Correct. Okay, but now if I want to work with the main flag, the global flag, then all that I have to do is tell the interpreter by using the keyword global that I am going to work with the main flag and I'm going to update it to 0. Sorry, global flag, then FLG equals to 0. Now what happens? The interpreter understands that the main flag has to be updated, and it does so. So here within the function, if there's a parameter with the same name as the global variable, so that gets priority. Okay, so it gets priority. But the global variable is viewable to all functions irrespective of where they're placed. Got it? So global scope and local scope. So this is one more important topic: global variables, local variables. Now, there are 3 inbuilt functions called map, map, reduce, map, filter, reduce. Okay. So what does the map function do? The map function is an inbuilt function. And what does it do? Provided you pass another function to it as its input parameter and an iterable, that is a list or tuple, then what it does? It returns a list of the results. Suppose, let me take an example. Let's take the same calculate squares. So what did we do? We wrote a list comprehension. We passed it. We looped through it. What we could have also done is we could have written a map function which would have mapped. How it would have mapped? Let me show you first. Okay, map. Let's take this. Take numbers. Okay. Now, squares list. So list of map function. Let's say lambda x square. And what do I need to pass? The second parameter that I have to pass is the numbers tuple. What is the squares list then? In this case, it is 14916. So precisely the same thing that we had done yesterday, it is being done here. Only thing is that the map function takes the responsibility of taking each and every item from the tuple and passing it each individually as a parameter to the lambda function, which is just squaring up the number. And the map function also takes the onus of storing the output in a map object, which we later typecast into a list or tuple. Okay, clear? Got it? So map means, as the name suggests, it maps two parameters together. One is a function to which the map function maps on the argument on which this function has to act. And what is that argument? It's a list or tuple or dictionary, maybe even. Okay. Are you there with me? Come on, guys. If you don't tell me a yes or no, I will get very discouraged. I will think that you are not understanding anything. Okay, so pep me up. Okay, chalo, good. Okay. So why don't you try this quickly on your own? The same squares of number. Now use a map function and a lambda function in combination. Try this. The more you try on your own, the more you will understand. Okay, Gayatri, I told you that the example that I showed you just now, please try out the same example on your own, the map function, and actually type out the program and understand that which I told you now, correlate it with the theory that I told you. Okay, good. I assume you have finished it. I've given you enough time to try it out. Let me move to the next inbuilt function, which is known as filter. Now, as the name filter suggests, it filters out certain things. What does it filter out? So let's take the use case that I discussed some time back. I told you that you need to find out if something is a alphabet is a consonant or a vowel. So you're going to filter out from a alphabets list a vowel or a consonant. Let's look at the scenario. Alphabets equals to A, C, E, D, I. Okay. Now, I will write a function which will take a single alphabet and tell me if it is a vowel, it will return true. If not, it will return me false. Okay. So what do I need to do? Can you write out the function for me? Quickly write a function that will take a single alphabet or character and return a true if the character is a vowel, else it will return false. Take 5 minutes, do this. Very easy, but still I'm giving you 5 minutes. Anybody who's finished it? Anybody who has done this? Did you try? Fair enough. You haven't tried, I guess. What did I say? There's a function. Let's say alphabets filter. Okay, it takes one alphabet. Let's say A. What does it do if A in, let's say, a tuple of alphabet vowels? What are vowels? A, E, I, O, U. Let's take the small cases only. A, E, I, O, U. If it's present in this, then what? You return just a true. Else what? You return a Boolean false. False. Okay. So this is what this function does. Plain and simple. Okay. Now what? Now the filter function makes use of this function as its first parameter, and to it, it passes a list of alphabets. Let's say what it will pass here. Let me say vowels list. This is equals to, let's filter. Filter takes the first function which filters out alphabets filter, and to it passes the iterable. What is the iterable? In this case, the list of alphabets. What is the output? A, E, I. So what did it do? It took each character from the alphabets list, passed it as the input parameter to this alphabets filter, and then just got a true or false. Okay. So this is what this function does. So you may be wondering that what will happen to your homework. So don't worry, your homework, you still need to implement this using a lambda function. Okay. Use it as a lambda function. You can use it with the filter function also. In the filter function, you can write a lambda function and finish off, or a single lambda function as it is. I'm okay with either. So this was filter. The last one which we will use is known as reduce. Reduce basically is a it is a function which comes with a module called func tools. Next topic that we will take up is modules and packages. So it comes from module called func tools. Okay. So what it does is as follows. Given a iterable and a reducing function, it reduces down the output of the iterable to a single value. For example, if there's a tuple of numbers and you want to find out what is the output of the sum of all the numbers, then instead of actually looping through every number and adding it up, you can just use reduce. Very simple. So what does reduce do? You write a function which takes in two parameters and adds it up. And then you pass the second parameter as the iterable. In this case, what is the iterable is the tuple. From func tools. What is sum? It's a single value 21. Okay. So very simple. It just reduces down all the values to a single output. That's it that we have about functions. Obviously over this you can build out. So what should you read next when you now, these are the basics. You can take up things like decorators, make a note. You can take up things like decorators, which are the even higher concepts which you should read out, understand on your own. Okay. Any questions? I am giving a stop of 2 minutes just to ask you, so that you can ask your doubts, your questions. All these PDFs are uploaded to your LMS. Okay, Chetrali. Yeah, Sumit, I will tell you about the map function again. Fine, it's okay for you to not understand. Let me tell you the map function. So as the name suggests, Sumit, map means you're mapping two things together. Okay, what are you mapping? You're mapping a function to its input parameter. So basically, there's a function which takes a single input and does something. Like in the case that I showed you, it calculates the square of a number. Now, suppose you have a list which has a list of numbers and you want to find out the square of each of these numbers and store them somewhere else. Then you use a map function. So we saw here that we wrote a lambda function to calculate the square, wherein you take a single number as the input and find its square. And who is going to pass these numbers, single number one at a time? It is this numbers tuple over here. And the map does the work of mapping them together or bringing them together. Okay, clear? Okay. Practice it, Sumit, you will understand it. You try this out again today when you're back home. Means after the class, try it out. Okay, right. So strangely enough, I don't see much questions coming from you guys. First day you had lots of questions. I don't know what's happened in the interim, but I at least hope that it's a good way that you're not asking questions, that you're understanding it. Don't hesitate. If you have any question related to the topics course, please ask. Right. So now that we have finished maps, reduce and filter, now I will take up the next part, which is modules, namespaces, modules, file handling, and exceptions. Okay, let's see how much we can cover today. So guys, one concept I want you to understand quickly is known as what it is called as namespace. Okay, let me draw out something for you. This is a theoretical concept, but you need to understand it well to understand how modules work. Okay, how Python achieves separation between objects with the same name. Okay, so let me draw this for you. All materials should be uploaded into LMS. Please check part 3. Amar, can you please confirm if everybody's got access to it and they should be able to access all the materials?
Yeah, sure.
Guys, you should also check it quickly. Okay, look at this now, guys. I'm giving you a scenario to think. Suppose in your office, there are two people with the name, say, what should I give? Say Praveen Damle. Okay. So Praveen Damle 1 works in, say, the IT department. And Praveen Damle, another guy is there, Praveen Damle, same name. But Praveen Damle works here, say, for QA. Now, if there's any, what to say, if any HR communication that is to go for Praveen Damle of IT, right? What will the HR need to do? HR needs to be doubly sure and send the mail to Praveen Damle of IT and not to Praveen Damle of QA. Clear? Right? So within the same work area, if you take, there are two people with different name functioning without any problem happening to them. Right? So this is roughly the concept of namespaces. So what happens? Every object that we create, it is stored in some namespace or the other. The namespace is a logical entity. Sorry. Now look at this, guys. This white screen on which I have been writing code for all these last 3 days, it is known as the main workspace, the main work area. If I can say this blank area. Okay. So if you want to see what objects are present in this main work area, then you need to use the function dir. And you see, so many things have been created by me over here. Clear? So I need you to visualize this. All that I've created here, it's like this white space in which I have created lot of objects. Got it? Yes. So this object is known as main namespace. Okay. Everybody clear? Yes, no, quick, please tell me. Otherwise, I will move on. Anybody who's got a doubt with the main namespace? So now suppose this, okay, now let me import, as I was doing previously, the math module. Now what happens? This math module, let's see now what does the main namespace contain. It contains everything. And what more, now it contains the math module also. But the math module itself has got a namespace in which it has got lots of different objects. So let's see, what does the math module have? You see, it has got a lot of other objects within them. Objects means functions mainly. Some also values like pi, etc., etc. Okay, so it is like this. I need you to imagine like this. Inside this main namespace, this is the math module, and it has got a lot of other functions also. Okay. So this module also will have, now we will come to the concept of modules. Wait. So this module also will have its own namespace, which will be in this case math. Now, how do you identify? How do you identify what is the name of the module? Very simple. So if you see here quickly, this dir over here, or this dir math, there's a parameter, right? Which starts with 2 leading underscores and 2 trailing underscores. So what did I tell you? What are such parameters known as? What are they named as? Special parameters, right? Special object language defines special names. Okay, so if I tell you what is the underscore underscore name for the main namespace, it is main. So this is over here. This namespace is known as main underscore underscore main. And this, what about the math module? What is its namespace? So to find it, you have to use math dot underscore underscore name. Okay, math, right? So this is very important for you to know. Now, based on this comes the concepts of modules. What is a module? Module is nothing else but a file. Very simply, it's a file where somebody has written some useful functions for you, and you simply can use it by using the command input. So what I want you to do is open a new file, okay, and write, okay, write a few lines. Suppose write a function def hello, and it says what? Print hello world. Okay, right? Now you save it. As I'm doing, you can save this. Hello. Okay. Now what you need to do? Okay. Okay. Now what I'm doing, I'm importing this hello. Now you see what? Now what does my main namespace contain? See, since I've restarted the shell, the old uh, uh, members that were there has been deleted. What it has got is the new import that I've done, which is hello. Okay. Now I can access the hello dot hello function. Okay. This is how it works. So can you please quickly try this out for me? Quickly see, create a new file, just restart it. Okay. I expect you to finish it. If you have not done, try it later. So the next topic that I will take up for you is modules namespace. I did. Okay. Now what we will do is, what do I need to tell you? Okay, so modules, I told you guys what happened. Now, one thing I need to tell you. So do you see here how this works? So the moment I did import, say math, it will work. Okay, but suppose you write some module and try to import it here directly, it won't work. So how this works out, guys, is how does Python know where this module math is located? Okay, I didn't tell it a path. So basically math, if you see over here, math is a some sort of a folder in a, yeah, okay. Import math, let me show you. Restart shell. Okay. So what is import math? It works. But what about import hello? Now you see it won't work. It will say module not found. Okay. So for this to understand, you have to actually understand the concepts of paths. So you remember on the first day when you were downloading IDLE, downloading Python 3 dot whatever, I told you that there's a check button, add paths to, add directory folder to path. Something like that was there, right? I told you need to check it. So what happens when Python starts up? Okay, it starts up from some location. Like this shell which you're seeing is actually an application. It starts up at some location. So that location is known as current working directory. Yeah. So the first preference, so when you give a module name or a file name, etc., the first preference is given to the current working directory. So Python will search for that file or module in that current working directory. Let's understand what is a current working directory over here. So there's a module name that is OS. Okay, it deals with various operating system functions. So from this, we will take a get. We will take a function known as getCwd. Okay, which tells you what is the current working directory. So in my case, it is this. This is the path where Python is installed and also where IDLE starts up from. So if you see this path, this is where IDLE starts up from, and also this is where we have most of our modules. So if you see these folders under lib, these are all modules in themselves. Okay. Modules are package. Actually, these are package. There's a small difference. So I will tell you about that also. What's a package and what is a module? Okay, so module, what did we understand? It's basically a file wherein you name, wherein you put few useful functions and all, functions, classes, whatnot. And also you save it with a name and that name becomes the module name. Okay. If you take, let me see, math is there, math. Yep. Not here. Okay. I don't know where the math function and math module is. It should be somewhere inside the lib only. It's not coming out right now. I don't want to waste much time on it. But you can have a look on some other module, like say JSON. Okay, you see? There are all these. There's one file folder like this. Then there are files like these. These are all Python files. See, let me take this decoder. Uh, Doesn't matter. Let me open it now. Say like this. It's a Python file. You see, this is a module. There's some classes here, functions here, some yet defined also. Okay, some there may be some numbers, constants, etc., defined. Yeah, so this is a module. Okay, so how do you import a module? Import means you're bringing that module entirely to your main workspace. Instead of bringing the entire module, you can also import only a few of the required functions. Like say from math, you can say I want to import only say ceil, the ceil function. So instead of the entire module now being downloaded to your directory, to your main workspace, the ceil function from the math module has been imported to your main workspace. Yeah, so it's like import, as the name suggests, you're bringing something in, importing in. Okay, so this is to it. Acha, how do you download? Now these modules come built in with Python. So the moment you download Python, these modules are imported. Acha, one more thing I forgot to say. Now, so we understood the first priority is given to the current working directory. Next priority is given to a variable called as Python underscore path. So for Windows users, if you open your system variables, go to environment variables, and then you need to create, in my case, I've already created, but here you need to create the variable with the name Python underscore path. Okay, since I've already created it, I won't create again, but you can see that you create the path, then you give the path where you're going to keep your modules, your functions, your programs, etc., etc. Okay. And if Python finds your module or the file you're searching for in this path, well and good. Otherwise, last it goes to the system environment path where it checks, okay, for the particular module or path. Yeah, so this is the current working directory. Then the path specified by the Python underscore path variable. Finally, it goes to the main system environment path. Okay, please remember it. Acha, one more thing important for you to understand. Suppose you need a module which doesn't come built in with Python. Say, let me say, for example, a MQTT module. So what I need to do, there's a import PAHO. So sorry, what I need to do, pip install. This is the command. You need to open your command prompt, ensure that Python is installed. Okay, then pip means Python installation. Basically, it's a tool for installing packages from the cloud, packages or modules, whatever you call it. The pip install, let me give you an example. Let me see what I can show you. Say InfluxDB, okay, or InfluxDB. Okay, so InfluxDB, it's a package for working with a time series database called InfluxDB. So I give pip install InfluxDB. So provided this package is found, it will install it. I'm not doing it again because I have got it already. And if I need to uninstall this package, then I need to use the command pip uninstall, then the package name. Got it? Clear? Are you clear? Pip, it's a tool for installing packages, Python packages to your system. Most of the time it's there in the cloud. So you download it from there. Now then, if you have understood this, so you have understood most of the things. So one thing which you will try out, read out on your own and come, and we will discuss it tomorrow, is what? Please make a note. It's packages. Packages is like a super set of modules, and packages have multiple modules. So what they do is they create a folder with a particular name, which becomes the package name. And in that folder, they put the module files, each one of them. And then they have a very simple file called as init __ init, in which they mainly write the import commands. Okay, so there will be import this module, import that module. So package is a superset of your modules, or related modules, correlated modules are clubbed into a package. Got it? And you can use the package also as an import. Instead of using a plain module, you can also import a package like JSON. Okay. So that brings me to the next series here. So tomorrow, come reading packages, understand more about the packages OS, sys, JSON. Okay, these three packages you need to read and come understand what's happening. And yeah, I think that should be enough. OS, sys, JSON. And time. This is important. Although it's okay, time, even if you don't understand completely now, get a basic idea. Time is a big package. It has got a lot of functionality. Okay. But JSON important because tomorrow's coding we will do based on this JSON. Okay. So I stop for 2 minutes. I need to give a break to my voice also. And you can ask me questions in the meanwhile. Okay, no questions. So far, so good. Attendance link. I think Amar has already sent it. He's sending it again. Please save it. Make a note. And once the class is done, Amar, they can do it once the class is done, right?
Yes, they can.
Okay, thanks. Right, any questions? So let's start. In case you don't have any more questions, let's start with the file handling part of it. As you understand file handling, you would have done it before also. C++ also, C++ you have it. It's basically file manipulation. In that you open files to read or write, or read and write both, or append. And then you read or write something, read from it, write from it. Or what you do, you sometimes append things, and then once the operation is done, you close it. Correct? So to do this, you need the user first create a file pointer object which understands which file has to be opened and worked with, and you have to open the file in a certain mode. The mode can be varied, like read, write, read plus write, write plus read, append, append plus. Okay. So let's have a quick look at it. So in my case, for the paucity of time and to show you, I will quickly open the file from a place I had stored before. Last second, see. This is fine. I will open this. Okay. So I will just open up my file. I will change the current working directory. As I showed you, this is how we do it. was.chdr. I'll change my current directory by using the chdr method. I will put a raw string just in case something locha happens to avoid it. Now this is my, what is my current working directory? os.get cwd. Okay, this is my current working directory. Now what? I have to open a file in certain mode. So we create a file pointer object. There's a function called as open, which is again an inbuilt function. So what does open have? File, mode, buffering, encoding, errors none. Buffering, encoding, you can forget for the moment. So you need to open the file. What file? There's a txt file that I'm going to open. It's called as class_txt.txt. And what am I going to do? I'm just going to read the file. So I will open it in a R mode, comma R. Okay. Now, so how is the file open? Closed. So these are two these are two flags. Mode. The fp.mode means it tells you in what mode have you opened this particular file. It's a flag. And closed is a flag which tells you whether the file is open or closed. Okay. So now that the file is open, what we will do, we can only read from the file. So with this file pointer object, there's a method called as read, which helps you to read all the lines that are present in the file. Okay. Once that the file reading is done, you can close it off. Clear? Similarly, you can open a new file for writing. New class text.write. So what this will do is, in case the file is present, the write mode overwrites the entire file. So very careful, don't open in write mode if you wish to save your old data. It overwrites. In case the file is not present, it creates a new file. Okay, let's see if the file is created. Let's see over here. Yes, so it's created a 0 KB file for me. Now here, I use a method called as write for writing what? The hello there. Okay. Now, once you have written, then it returns something, say 11. That means you have written 11 bytes of words or space, etc., etc. Once this is done, you can close it again. Peter, close. Now what? Now, if you want to read the file again, now what we will do, we will open the file in something different called read plus. You will say we should be able to open the file both for reading and writing. Reading first. So if I read it first, fp.read, hello there. Now let me write to it also. Adding another line. So it has written 19 characters. Okay, or 19 bytes. Now, at what point is my file cursor now? Okay. So tell me, so I'm asking the file system, the file pointer object, to tell me at what point is my file cursor now. So it says tell. So it tells you it is at byte 30. Basically, it's at the end of your file. Now, suppose I want to bring back the cursor to the beginning of the file over here. That's over here. So now it's at the end of the file. I want to bring it back to the beginning. The cursor will blink here. So what I will do, there's another method called seek. So if you pass the parameter 0, 0 to it, so it resets the cursor again to the beginning of the file. Okay, got it? So now my cursor is back here. Now suppose I want to read only the first 10 bytes of the file. So what I have to do, I have to use the read method and give the size that I want to read. So 10, it will read for me the first 10 characters. Okay. So this is in a nutshell how you work with files. Obviously, there are other concepts also which you can check on your own. There are many other modes that's present here in my PPTs also, like read binary, write plus, write, append, go through these. There's also another flag called name, which gives you the name of the current file which is open. Okay. Then there are a few other methods like write lines, read lines, etc., which is okay. Even if you don't know about them now, that's okay. You won't need them. You need to know about the read and write methods primarily. Okay. So far, so good. Yes, correct. Murli, it will go back to the default location after restarting. That means it will go back to the location from where the IDE is booting up. Okay. So to avoid this again and again, what you can do, you should add your working or the module path or the file path, etc., to the either the Python path parameter or to the path parameter. Okay. And maybe your system will need a restart for the changes to take effect. I've seen that it needs a restart. Clear? Okay. So I bring the topic to a stop here today. Tomorrow we will pick up with the exception handling and and we will take up classes, whatever is there. What I want to work with you tomorrow on is a small mini project. I will say micro project, not even mini. What I need you to do is to create a JSON file containing devices details like this. Okay. What device details, what all, you must be thinking, what is this person speaking of? You to create try and show you. I need you to create a JSON file like this. Don't worry if it looks very complex also, that's okay. So basically what I'm trying to replicate is a scenario of a IoT device, of a IoT. Then I had told you on day one that IoT is one domain where Python is used heavily. So what you need to do, create a JSON file which will have a JSON object like this. Now you need to check out what's a JSON object. Like this, it will have 3 devices, suppose 2 devices, say device A, and it will have parameters like this, say CO2, carbon dioxide equals to say 100, and what, and say suppose temperature equals to say 30. Okay, now you will have to read from the, and you can create another device, 2 devices at least. You will have to read from this file, JSON object you have to read. And suppose for any of the device, the carbon dioxide level goes beyond 150. So you can randomly create also the carbon dioxide levels and temperature, or temperature goes beyond 25 degree. You will have to create a dictionary in which you will say what is the device that has violated the carbon dioxide level or the temperature and what parameter has been violated. That's it. And then finally print out. Yes, JSON is related to JavaScript, but it is now used by most systems to interchange data. Okay. JSON means JavaScript object notification. So you will have to read how in Python you can work with JSON. So there's a module known as JSON. So as I said, read it and come tomorrow, practice it, read it and come tomorrow. Did you understand my question? Did you understand the scenario that we are going to work on? So you have to read a JSON file, so file handling. You have to pull out the JSON object. So you need to know how a JSON object looks like. You need to loop through every device ID in that JSON object and pull out its value for carbon dioxide and what? And temperature. And if the carbon dioxide level is beyond 100 ppm, and temperature beyond 50 degree, you need to flag it as an alarm and create a dictionary wherein you will have the device ID and what is the parameter violated. Okay, suppose CO2, like, okay. Got it? Here, I am working with a much complex JSON. I'm not giving you that, but at least you should learn this. Very high chance that in interview, they will ask you to decode a JSON and tell. Right, friends? Clear? Did you get my question? Okay. Fine, then we meet tomorrow. We will come back with, tomorrow we will finish off exception handling and classes and objects. So now you're ready to take a leap forward, provided you work on, improve on what you have learned and practice, do more coding, more MCQs to be solved, try your projects. At ExcelR, we have got regular batches running on Python, core Python, Python with data science, etc. So if you are interested, you can even explore those options. It's up to you. So last 4 to 5 minutes, I keep it for you to ask your doubts, your questions, clarifications, if any, your feedback. You want to tell me something personally, please go ahead. Thank you. Thank you, Kavya. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bhagyashri. Yes. Thank you, Sumit. Shivam, it's been shared. Just look up. See that you would have got attendance link from Amar. Okay, those of you who have attended on YouTube, I don't know if there's anybody today. Please drop in your comments, your feedback. Like our channel. Follow us for more updates. Yeah. Certificate. Amar, maybe you can address them on this. Kavya is asking me if they will get any certificate.
In the last session, I will address that query, guys.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Amar. Yeah. Thank you, Vikrant. Thank you so much. I'm very happy to see a smiley icon. Not just a smiley, but a big, happy smile. Good. Okay, Shivam. Sure, we meet tomorrow again. Thank you, Bhavyashree. Thank you, Pooja. Thank you, Sai. Yes, Shivam. Thank you. Okay, then. Thank you, everybody. I wish you a very happy, good evening of whatever little is left for you. But then tomorrow we have a hectic evening coming up. Thank you, Janhavi. So tomorrow you need to revise whatever we have done today. Whatever I have told you, you need to be prepared with it, especially Jason. Think through the problem that I've told you. Okay, file handling you have to go through because you will have to open a JSON file and read from it a JSON object. Okay, so meet you tomorrow. We have a heavy evening tomorrow. Come prepared. We have saved the best for the last. Okay. Thank you, Rojashri. Thank you so much. Okay, everybody. Good night. Welcome. When are you going to conduct workshops, Shushmita? Okay, you can check with our LMS team on this. Oh, thank you, Bhavyashri. Yeah. Good night. Yes, dears. Good night. Okay, Amar, I'm dropping off then.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Bye, everybody.
Yes, guys, we are done with the session. So we'll meet you on tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last session of this program. So I already shared the attendance thing in the chat box. I'm sharing once it again. So please mark your attendance and share your valuable feedback. If you have any query or question regarding to the LMS, please drop an email to edl@excelr.com. Our team will address that queries. Okay. Okay. So thank you so much, all of you, for joining the session. We'll meet you on tomorrow at same time. Bye bye.